Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ruminate This with Agrarian Solutions. Join us as we explore ruminant nutrition and the impact of mycotoxins. Here, we challenge your curiosity and explore new industry insights and research to optimize your herd's health and performance. All right. Hey, welcome everybody back to Ruminate This with Agrarian Solutions. I'm your host, Scott Zaire. And boy, what a way to start out the new year. And you're probably listening because we have some, I would say, major breaking news to announce about our flagship product here that we've talked a lot about, DTX, which has proven through research and results in the field to be, in my opinion, Larry, the best option for mitigating mycotoxins that we know about. And to join me today to share this information with you all is Dr. Larry Roth, Vice President of Nutrition at Agrarian Solutions. And Larry, this DTX enhancement, I think there's times where companies try to take a good thing and make it better. And you might say, well, that didn't make a lot of sense. But having listened to what we're doing with DTX already, I would say, Larry, this makes an awful lot of sense. So a brief description, and then I know you have a presentation that you're going to share with us as well. So if you are listening to this on your regular podcast platform, maybe it's Spotify or Apple, you can jump over to YouTube. The link will be in our bio. And Dr. Roth, you'll be able to see Dr. Roth's presentation. You can also email us, podcast@agrsol.com, and we can get you the information you need about the DTX enhancement. So Dr. Roth, brief description, if you don't mind, and then dive right in.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Hey, let's walk down memory lane here and review the DTX product. So, Scott, what we've got here is our tagline at Agrarian Solutions: defend and protect for a lifetime. And this pertains to every stage of the animal's life. And this slide here looks at where we primarily look at defending and protecting the animal's digestive tract. And what we're defending and protecting against will vary with the age and stage of the animal. But for DTX, we focus on defending and protecting against the mycotoxins that are trying to attack the epithelial cells that line the small intestine. Has a castle wall function in addition to absorbing nutrients. These cells also have a very important immune system response. So, Scott, the concern we have is if these cells are under attack by mycotoxins and they happen to, shall we say, poke a hole in the castle wall, all kinds of pathogens, mycotoxins, and shall we just say bad stuff end up in the animal's end up in the animal's body, and the immune system and the liver have to deal with those consequences. So here's our modes of action that we've established over time. Defend digestive tract integrity. As a nutritionist, I think of the digestive tract as being the most important part of the animal for the reasons that we mentioned on the previous slide. We're also trying to protect against mycotoxin-related inflammation. Scott, you and I have talked about this many times here on the Ruminate This podcast. Inflammation is a normal process whereby the body is trying to defend itself and repair itself. The challenge is if this inflammation is not resolved and continues on, which is normally what happens when an animal is consuming a diet that is contaminated with mycotoxins. Scott, we've talked some in the past about liver health. I liken the liver to be in the body's biochemical factory. This factory is responsible for detoxification, not only of mycotoxins, but other metabolites that are produced in the body under normal processes, but also under, shall we say, immune challenges and stress, and when the body is under attack from outside agents. So we need to be thinking more and more about the liver, because this is on the forefront of dairy nutrition today. Again, the biochemical factory, if the liver isn't healthy, the animal isn't healthy. It's really quite that simple. And then finally, put it all together. Defend proper nutrient allocation. Scott, we continually hear about how expensive diets are, and it all comes down to do we allocate nutrients to beneficial purposes? Or are the nutrients being siphoned off and destroyed in trying to deal with unresolved inflammation? So here's our basic DTX modes of action: defend, protect, defend. Well, to date, all of those modes of action have been successfully achieved by supplementing lactoform, the cell wall deficient bacteria. And again, Scott, you and I have talked about the lactoform, so I won't go into that. But we are keeping lactoform at the same level in our formula, but we're enhancing the DTX with Livox. What's Livox? Well, it's a proprietary blend of natural plant actives. I've been intrigued by the plant extracts for many, many years, but we really didn't understand how these plant extracts worked. Then we started to understand how extracts work, and they would do all kinds of different things. But the science has moved now to where we're down to the plant actives, the certain molecules that have different functions and effects inside the animal. So we've got access to a proprietary blend of natural plant actives or molecules. Now, these have been selected for defending digestive tract integrity. Scott, I think we mentioned that as a mode of action on the previous slide. Now we're doing even more for protecting liver health. That was mentioned on the previous slide as well. I think these are two key items as we've been establishing. Protect at the digestive tract lining, protect our biochemical factory so it can detoxify and prepare nutrients for proper metabolism. This has all come about as a result of our relationship with a company that has a 30-year history in plant molecules. They have gone over time from the plant extract side of it to now it's down to the plant molecules or actives. Scott, you and I have talked in the past, and you've had other guests on who have talked about the importance of relationships. And we felt that this is a company that has the same basic approach to life as what we do. It's about relationships, it's about integrity, being strategic, and achieving excellence. That's what this company is about. They have granted us exclusive US rights to this proprietary blend. This proprietary blend has been used elsewhere for a number of years, and so we know that it works. We know that we have excellent animal intake and performance and health benefits. Now we're bringing it to the US and putting it on top of our Lactoform bacteria. Scott, here's a little drawing that looks at what we're trying to accomplish. I have the plant names up here at the top: turmeric and Nerogene. Down to the lower left, I have rosemary. On our label and text sheets, you're going to see those names because those are the plants that have achieved generally regarded as safe or GRAS status from the FDA. Turmeric is going to be a source of curcumin, which we'll talk about on subsequent slides. And curcumin has a very important role in maintaining the integrity of the digestive tract lining. Well, Scott, we've been talking about that ad nauseum. Now, there's many companies that will use turmeric, but there are not many companies that use Nerogene. Nerogene comes from orange peels, and we'll also do some talking about how Nerogene has a very complementary and necessary role when we go to utilize turmeric. And then we have rosemary. Rosemary is a very important antioxidant to protect the liver, the body's biochemical factory, as well as provide antioxidant support to other parts of the animal's body. Scott, this is a more appropriate way to look at what we're doing. I've substituted the GRAS names with the actual plant active names, the plant molecules: curcumin and Nerogene, Carnosic. So again, we're talking the same story as with DTX in the past. We've just taken it to the next level or the next generation. Let's bring in the plant actives or molecules to further the advantages that we're providing to the animal and to the producer. So let's go look at turmeric, source of curcumin. And here's what's important is that the curcumin defends the tight junctions between the cells. So think of Lactoform as helping to kick the mycotoxins out of the epithelial cells so that we maintain the cell integrity. But in between the cells, we have these tight junctions. And they're called tight junctions because they're supposed to be tight. Scott, if we lose those tight junctions, we've got an interstate highway for pathogens, mycotoxins, and all kinds of bad stuff to go right into the body. Now we've got the unresolved inflammation. Then the immune system has to deal with those invaders getting into the body. Now the liver's got to detoxify. Let's not let that happen. Let's employ curcumin to protect those tight junctions. Lactoform protects the epithelial cell integrity. Curcumin comes in and protects the tight junctions. Think of it as Lactoform protects the blocks. Curcumin comes in to protect the mortar between the blocks that holds them all together. Now, Nerogene is important to improve curcumin bioavailability. So what? There's other companies that are supplementing turmeric. We've refined what we're supplementing to where we're down to the curcumin molecule. So what? Somebody else is supplementing curcumin. If they aren't bringing in the Nerogene, the curcumin is not going to be as available and not be as effective for protecting the tight junctions between the epithelial cells. Here's another way to think of it, Scott. We've got the CA3 bolus, and I think we've talked about that here on Ruminate This. So it is important to provide different sources of calcium to the second and greater lactation cow at freshening. That's important. I'll agree with that. But we got to go to the next step and provide the vitamin D3 to work with improving calcium absorption and metabolism. So D3 makes the calcium that much more bioavailable and effective. Nerogene functions the same way. It improves the bioavailability so that the curcumin is able to, in essence, coat these cells lining the small intestine and protect the tight junctions. Protect the cells with Lactoform, protect the tight junctions with curcumin and Nerogene. Synergistic Technologies. Let's go over here and let's talk about Carnosic. Carnosic is the molecule from rosemary that works as a fat-soluble antioxidant for the liver and for other tissues. So our focus is going to be on the liver, but there's also good antioxidant activities to protect other cells. Again, we think of the liver as the body's biochemical factory. Scott, I keep repeating that because I just want that burnt into people's mind. Liver, biochemical factory. And our factory has to be functioning properly. We can't have broken doors and broken windows. We got to have the power working for our factory to do what it's supposed to. That's where Carnosic comes in. Antioxidant, think of it as protecting the cells so that the liver cells and other body tissues can function properly. Scott, I didn't point it out on the previous slide, but here we have the Carnosic molecule. No, there's not going to be a quiz for drawing that molecule, but I'm just wanting us to think about we've gone beyond the plant, we've gone beyond the plant extract, to now we're talking about the plant active or the molecule itself that is responsible. So bring it all together. Curcumin and Nerogene are responsible for protecting the tight junctions, a further step for protecting digestive tract integrity. Carnosic, responsible for antioxidant properties, protecting the liver cells and other cells in the body, but we're going to say principally the liver. So, synergistic technologies. Hey, Scott, everything we've talked about in the past with Lactoform still applies. The same level of lactoform. But let's bring in other technologies to help the lactoform be even that much more effective. So lactoform protects the intestinal lining. Livox, let's go ahead and say the curcumin comes in to defend the tight junctions. Nerogene improves the bioavailability, the opportunities for the curcumin to protect the tight junctions. And then finally, Carnosic from rosemary as an antioxidant protection of the liver and other cells. Scott, I think you and I have talked about this. Let's just say we've got a cow who, during the dry period, was not receiving DTX. But unfortunately, she was on a higher zearalenone contaminated diet. So that zearalenone was getting through the intestinal wall because we weren't supplementing DTX with the lactoform. Now that zearalenone is stored in the body fat. Every cow after freshening goes through fat metabolism. They break down some of those body tissues. That's just basic biology of the cow. Well, that zearalenone is now released to float through the system, the cow's body, and cause its mischief. With DTX in the past, we really did not have a way to protect the liver from mycotoxins after they get through the castle wall. Now we have that opportunity with Carnosic. So, Scott, there's probably 4 key words that I want people to think about with this enhancement of DTX. Plant actives. We're talking about the curcumin, the Nerogene, and the Carnosic. The other 2 words, synergistic technologies. Everything we've said about lactoform in the past is still true. But now we've brought in synergistic technologies to further enhance what lactoform does and provide additional protection to the body. So, Scott, I'm excited about this. We're going to be making this available to the industry in early part of January. Builds upon what we've shown over 25 years that the DTX is able to do. It builds upon what we've shown with the controlled DTX research. Let's take it to the next level.
Awesome. So, Dr. Roth, that to me makes an awful lot of sense. The synergistic technologies, we're protecting the epithelial cells with DTX, our base, the lactoform, the active ingredient there. Defending tight junctions, how important is that, especially during times of heat stress? That's the first thing my mind went to. I like your point about the zearalenone being stored in the fatty tissue cells in the cow. And yeah, I mean, we're being honest, that typically bypasses our mode of action. And here's a response to that. So I love the approach. And again, I said it at the beginning of the call. I think so oftentimes companies will take either their best product and just say, hey, this is the best tool in the toolbox we got. We're not going to touch it. Or they'll say, we're going to touch it and it doesn't really work out or it didn't really make sense. I give you and the team at Agrarian that were behind this an awful lot of credit for truly enhancing this product and making it better. So that being said, Dr. Roth, if I buy a truck and I buy an XL base model F-150, it's this price. Well, if I want to enhance that and have built-in navigation and parking sensors and all the bells and whistles, it costs more.
Yes.
So what's the increased cost going to be on DTX?
Fantastic question, Scott. How much more is that DTX going to be costing the producer? We've been extended introductory pricing by our partner, and we're passing that on. So, Scott, the price of DTX is not going to be going up. And let me also say we're going to include this technology in the BioCycle Plus. So our products that are designed for mycotoxin protection are going to be including this new synergistic technology. Scott, folks will not see a price increase in the DTX family of products or the BioCycle Plus family of products.
Wow, that's a mic drop for me right there. I think that's really incredible. Another question I would have. So if you look up plant extracts from, perspective of a nutritionist and maybe the types of products on the marketplace that include plant extracts, I think one of the things that is great about DTX is we have a 2-year shelf life.
Mhm.
And I don't typically see products that have plant extracts in them with a 2-year shelf life. So is this going to affect our
Okay.
shelf life at all for, say, feed mills?
Okay. Fantastic. Great question. So what's the new shelf life going to be of DTX or the BioCycle Plus products? Well, in the past, plant extracts have also been called aromatics. And they're called aromatics because they put off an aroma. That means their benefits go off into the air. Yes, you will smell the turmeric and you will smell the Carnosic in the new DTX and BioCycle Plus. To me, it's a nice, pleasant smell. It's not overpowering. So there is some volatilization, but again, we're down to the plant molecules, we're down to the plant actives that are much more stable than the old essential oils and plant extracts. So we still have the same 2-year shelf life.
Wow.
Yes, you'll smell, but the plant extracts are much more stable than in the past, and we can still have the 2-year shelf life. Great question.
Wow. That's great. So we're not changing the cost. The shelf life is the same. Dr. Roth, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but it seems like there should be a catch, and I'm not finding it. So I really give you guys a lot of credit internally for truly making the gold standard for mycotoxin mitigation that much better.
So, Scott, I think it comes back to relationship in RISE. And you've talked on this podcast in the past about RISE
Yeah.
and what that means to us. Comes back to the relationship that we were able to make with this company. They wanted to come into the United States market. They looked at us as having a leading mycotoxin protection technology. They wanted to become associated with us. We were able to negotiate introductory pricing, and we're extending that to our customers. So the relationship came to us. We're extending that relationship on.
That's incredible. And it's just such a great demonstration of the core values that we do continue to speak about on this platform that, go back. It's not business to business, Larry. It's people to people.
Mm-hmm.
It's people to people. So you mentioned that the Livox will be available in DTX starting early January. So that'll be coming out probably within days after this podcast airs. So that's great. Is there any parting message you would like to leave with the industry professionals, nutritionists, veterinaries,
Mm-hmm.
dairy farmers? And finally, if they have any questions, if you have any questions about this, if you're listening to this podcast, again, it's podcast@agrsol.com. You send an email to that podcast with your questions, and I will have Dr. Roth responding to you within hours, unless you send it while I'm sleeping,
Okay.
but that's typically only at night. So,
You
Dr.
know,
Roth, yeah, what's a parting message you would have?
yeah.
Or
I think there's several parting messages. Let me start with the BioCycle Plus. Scott, we don't give the BioCycle Plus enough credit. We use that when we really got big challenges in life. And so think of what we're doing here as being extremely important when we've got big challenges in life. We got mycotoxins, we got different types of stress. We need to go beyond the simple lactoform technology. That's what we've said in the past. And
yep,
now we're really able to do that because we're defending the tight junctions. That's going to be important in heat stress, as you brought up. Thank you for mentioning that. We're going to be also bringing in the Carnosic to help with liver health. So without a BioCycle Plus, when you have challenges such as overcrowding, the heat, other things going on, DTX is our flagship product. That's what we sell the most of. BioCycle Plus probably hasn't gotten enough credit and enough usage. So this technology is going to be available in BioCycle Plus, where it's going to be very important in those really challenging situations. Parting thought, 4 words, as I mentioned before, plant actives. This is the new generation. We started with supplementing plants. We knew there was benefits there. The essential oils of plant extracts, we're getting a little bit more knowledgeable. Now we've got a partner that's really got it figured out. and we're down to the plant actives. Let's just provide what is needed to, in this case, define the tight junctions, make the curcumin available, and then the Carnosic to have the antioxidant properties at the liver and other tissues. Synergistic Technologies. We're not doing away with the Lactoform. We got the same level of Lactoform as in the past. Everything we've talked about Lactoform still applies, but now let's bring in Synergistic Technologies to enhance what Lactoform does. Plant actives, Synergistic Technologies. And Scott, I would encourage anybody that got questions, they'd like to learn more, contact us. You gave out the contact information before. Yeah, we'd really like to talk to people about what we've done. So I
Awesome.
appreciate this opportunity, Scott.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Roth, for sharing that information. Larry, what a way to kick off 2025. That's where I'll leave it. So congrats to you and the rest of the team for being able to put this together, pass along the savings to the end user. I think that's a great thing to keep in mind. And yeah, we look forward to more conversations about Livox in the future.
All right. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Larry. If you found value in today's podcast, please hit subscribe and share. And we look forward to talking to you again next week.